Welcome to our College Briefing show. Today, we dive into some pressing issues affecting communities across Australia. First up, a report reveals that 1 in 5 children in Sydney is living in poverty. This alarming statistic highlights the urgent need for access to basic necessities and services to combat financial hardship. Next, we turn our attention to a recent shooting incident in Surry Hills, which has sparked concerns about potential retaliation linked to organized crime. With a targeted attack on a man with known ties to criminal activities, experts warn that such violence sends a chilling message in the illegal market. Lastly, we discuss the return of an Australian student who suffered severe injuries during an alleged Israeli military raid in the West Bank. Ranem Abu Izneid is now home, facing the uncertain future of her vision and her career in dentistry. Please stay tuned for more detailed coverage of these important stories. The Sydney Morning Herald highlights the stark contrast in childhood experiences across Sydney, particularly through the lens of Gwen Rumbell, an 18-year-old who grew up in poverty. Rumbell's life was marked by financial strain, where brand-name groceries were a luxury and second-hand clothes were the norm. Her scholarship to the University of Sydney brought her into contact with peers from wealthier backgrounds, amplifying the culture shock she felt. While the 1987 promise by then Prime Minister Bob Hawke aimed to eradicate child poverty by 1990, a recent report shows that in areas like southwest Sydney, child poverty rates have doubled since then, with over 15.5% of children struggling to meet basic needs. Rumbell's academic journey is inspiring hope and change within her family, as her brother and mother are now considering higher education paths as well. In a chilling account from the Australian Broadcasting Corporation, a targeted shooting at a petrol station in inner Sydney has raised concerns about potential retaliation in organised crime circles. The victim, Nidal Acherkauk, was shot in a public setting, leading criminologists to speculate that such violence serves as a grim message within criminal networks. Former Detective Michael Kennedy explained that these violent acts are meant to instill fear and deter further conflict, often escalating into cycles of retaliation. Following the shooting, a burning Porsche was discovered, suggesting a deeper connection to organized crime activities. Kennedy advocates for drug decriminalization as a strategy to mitigate violence and disrupt criminal operations. The Australian Broadcasting Corporation also reports on the plight of Ranem Abu Izneid, a 20-year-old Australian student who suffered severe injuries during an alleged military raid in the West Bank. Struck by shrapnel, she faces the possibility of permanent vision loss, raising concerns about her future in dentistry. The complex evacuation process from the West Bank to Melbourne involved multiple medical transfers and significant challenges, including difficulties faced by her father during airport security checks. Despite the turmoil, her mother remains hopeful for her recovery, while Victorian Premier Jacinta Allen calls for an end to the ongoing conflict in the Middle East, emphasizing the tragic loss of life among children caught in the crossfire. Associated Press reports on a thrilling college football game where Jacoby Longino threw a last-second 20-yard touchdown pass to Kindon Fuselier, leading Lamar to a dramatic 26-24 victory over McNeese. The Cardinals, who had built a 17-point lead, faced a fierce comeback from McNeese, who took the lead with a late touchdown. Longino, stepping in for the ejected starter Robert Coleman, showcased his resilience by completing a crucial 4th and 16 play before ultimately finding Fuselier in the end zone as time expired. This victory capped off a roller coaster season for both teams, with McNeese's Devin Lippold and Joshan Barbie putting up notable performances despite the loss. The Toronto Star provides a grim overview of the escalating gang violence in Haiti, exacerbated by a failed UN peacekeeping mission. Despite initial hopes for stability with the arrival of Kenyan police, the situation has deteriorated, with gangs now controlling 85% of the capital, Port-au-Prince. The violence has led to the closure of the main international airport, crippling aid deliveries in a country already facing severe hunger and homelessness. Doctors Without Borders has suspended operations due to threats against its staff, highlighting the dire humanitarian crisis. Experts express deep concern about the future, questioning the effectiveness of the international response and the lack of a functioning authority in Haiti. Associated Press also covers Kansas State's decisive 41-15 win over Cincinnati, where DJ Giddens shined with 143 rushing yards and 2 touchdowns. The Wildcats, snapping a 2-game losing streak, quickly established dominance with a strong opening drive and maintained control throughout the game. Cincinnati struggled with crucial conversions, failing to capitalize on opportunities that could have shifted momentum. The game showcased Kansas State's ability to bounce back and set the stage for both teams as they prepare for their final regular season games, with Cincinnati needing a win to secure bowl eligibility. The Sydney Morning Herald reports that Labor has decided to abandon a contentious proposal aimed at curbing misinformation in public discourse after facing significant backlash from the Senate. The proposed legislation, designed to empower federal authorities to combat the spread of falsehoods, was met with strong opposition from the Greens and independent senators, who argued that it would not effectively tackle the issue and could compromise free speech. Communications Minister Michelle Rowland acknowledged the lack of support for the bill, emphasizing the need for a collaborative approach to strengthen democratic institutions while protecting citizens' rights. Critics, including opposition spokesperson David Coleman, expressed concern about the implications of bureaucratic oversight in determining truth in online discussions. Associated Press highlights an exhilarating college football match where Georgia State triumphed over Texas State with a score of 52-44, breaking a 7-game losing streak. Quarterback Christian Valou shone with 3 touchdown passes to Dorian Fleming, while Freddie Brock added 3 rushing touchdowns to the mix. The game turned in favor of Georgia State as they scored 31 consecutive points, showcasing a thrilling comeback after initially trailing. The victory marks a significant moment for Georgia State, as they celebrate their first win since mid-September, while Texas State's hopes for a stronger season take a hit. Associated Press also covers Oklahoma's stunning upset against number 7 Alabama, winning 24-3 and becoming bowl eligible in the process. Xavier Robinson led the charge with 107 rushing yards and 2 touchdowns, while quarterback Jackson Arnold contributed significantly with both his legs and arm. The game was marked by Alabama's struggles, particularly from quarterback Jalen Milroe, who had a dismal performance with 3 interceptions. Oklahoma's defense dominated, forcing turnovers and preventing Alabama from gaining momentum. The victory sent Sooners fans rushing the field in celebration, marking a turning point for the team as they established their identity in the SEC after transitioning from the Big 12. Associated Press reports that BYU men's basketball team showcased a dominant performance against Mississippi Valley State, winning 87-43 and improving their record to 5-0. Fousseyni Traore led the charge with a double-double, scoring 15 points and grabbing 11 rebounds, while Cannon Catchings added 14 points. The Cougars started strong with a 32-13 run, leading 55-27 at halftime. Their shooting was impressive, hitting 53% from the field and 34% from beyond the arc. Mississippi Valley State's Donovan Sanders was the standout for his team, scoring 14 points, but it wasn't enough to match BYU's relentless offense. The Sydney Morning Herald covers the harrowing story of Australian student Ranem Abu Izneid, who returned home after being severely injured by shrapnel in an Israeli shooting incident. The 20-year-old was struck while studying at Al-Quds University in the West Bank, an area she believed was safe. Abu Izneid's injuries have left her without sight in her right eye and she faces a long road to recovery, including potential further surgeries. Her family is demanding an independent investigation into the shooting, expressing their devastation over the incident that has shattered her dreams of becoming a dentist. Her mother, visibly emotional, emphasized the innocence of her daughter and the need for accountability. Associated Press reports on Oregon State's thrilling 41-38 victory over number 25 Washington State, which allowed them to snap a 5-game losing streak. The Beavers' Everett Hayes kicked a clutch 55-yard field goal in the final moments of the game, sealing their win in what was essentially a Pac-12 championship match. Ben Gulbranson threw for 294 yards and 2 touchdowns, while Trent Walker Jr. had a standout performance with 12 receptions for 136 yards. The game was a roller coaster, with both teams exchanging leads, but ultimately, Oregon State's resilience shone through as they recovered a crucial fumble and executed a final drive to clinch victory. Associated Press, in an electrifying showdown, Jack Lane led Idaho to a decisive 40-17 victory over Idaho State, showcasing his prowess with 3 touchdown passes. The game kicked off with a trick play that saw Lane connect with Emerson Cortez-Menjivar for a 41-yard touchdown, setting the tone early on. Nate Thomas was a force on the ground, rushing for 171 yards, while Andrew Marshall's 100-yard kickoff return for a touchdown at the start of the second half further solidified Idaho's dominance. Despite a valiant effort from Idaho State's Kobe Tracy, who threw for 249 yards, the Vandals' impressive performance kept them in the hunt for a playoff berth with a strong 9-3 record. Associated Press, in a historic encounter at Yankee Stadium, number 6 Notre Dame triumphed over number 18 Army with a resounding 49-14 victory, ending Army's impressive 13-game winning streak. Jeremiah Love was the star of the night, scoring 3 touchdowns and tying a school record with his 11th consecutive game with a rushing TD. Love's explosive 68-yard run in the second half exemplified his talent, as he finished the game with 130 rushing yards. Notre Dame's offense was relentless, scoring touchdowns on 4 of their 6 first-half drives, while Army struggled to keep pace, managing only 207 rushing yards against a stout Irish defense. This victory not only enhances Notre Dame's playoff aspirations but also marks their 16th consecutive win over Army, a fitting tribute to the 100th anniversary of the iconic Four Horsemen. Associated Press, in a gritty battle, Baylor secured a 20-10 victory over Houston, marking their 5th consecutive win. Sawyer Robertson threw for 204 yards and 2 touchdowns, leading the Bears to a 17-7 halftime advantage. Despite his 3 interceptions, Robertson's ability to connect with Michael Trigg and Ashton Hawkins for crucial touchdowns kept Baylor in control. The Bears' defense was relentless, forcing 4 turnovers and pressuring Houston's quarterback, Zion Chris, throughout the game. Houston's struggles continued as they failed to reach bowl eligibility for the 2nd straight year, with their offense managing only a single touchdown in 5 games. As Baylor eyes the Big 12 championship game, they remain a formidable contender, while Houston faces a challenging end to their season against number 14 BYU. Thank you for tuning in. The content above showcases the latest briefing reports and analytical synopses, thoughtfully curated by the 6Do team. These insights stem from a wide array of reputable media outlets, think tanks, government sources, and specialized experts worldwide. We encourage you to explore these sources for a comprehensive perspective. Keep in mind that while the content may not always align with the official standpoint of 6Do Brief, it's not meant to be taken as absolute directives for decision-making. Comprising seasoned media professionals, learned scholars, and accomplished scientists, the 6Do team embodies a trailblazing, fully independent media entity. To customize 6Do Brief to meet your professional needs, you have the option to subscribe to a diverse array of briefings on our website, 6dobrief.com. Regardless of your location, you can conveniently receive 6Do Brief via email.